Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. AMC Stock is making its way close to about $10 per share here today. You're currently up 5.57%. We have some big catalysts coming here in after hours, especially with earnings from Microsoft as well as Google. This is going to drive the broad indexes. This will drive AMC stock higher or lower. Now, there's good news today. Bond yields are continuing to fall. That is pushing up especially your small and mid-cap stocks. Does this continue? Well, we need to talk about just that. This could help fuel the next leg higher of this rally with AMC stock, in which I am convinced is coming. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. If you guys would like to come trade with us live in real time, I send out all of my trades every time I make them. Come ask questions, come get answers. Link down below in the description of this video. Nonetheless, let's get into it. So AMC stock is at $9.69 per share, a jump, skip, and a hop away from $10 per share. Above $10 per share is really psychological more than anything. When you're above 10, it's a little easier to go to 11, 12, and then really make a big rally from there. If you get above $12 per share, $15 per share looks in the cards. Now, your 50-day moving average is at $12.17. If you theoretically break above your 50-day moving average, your next level that you could hit is that 100-day moving average at $26.38 per share. So there's a big potential gap here, even larger than what we have seen before, right? It used to be pretty narrow, the gap between the 50 and 100-day. AMC has fallen a lot. Now this gap is truly astronomically wide. It's like $14 wide here. So that could make a breakout above the 50-day almost certainly going to hit that 100-day moving average, or at least make a larger move higher would be my expectation. Even if I shouldn't say certainly, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a financial planner. Take this information with a big grain of salt. Anything can happen in the markets, especially with AMC. You guys know that firsthand. But if you break that 50-day, it gives you a lot more room to make that upside move, in my personal opinion, based on my personal observations. Now, what's happening here on the day today? Well, not too much. We did have some earnings today. Coca-Cola, Verizon, GE, RTX, 3M, ADM, Spotify, Next Era Energy, Centene Corporation, and GM. None of these really stick out all too much. We had a trade on RTX that did do well. RTX was up like 10% in the beginning of the trading day. Still up like 7% today, so the stock was pricing in like a 4.5% move. You moved 7%, so that was a good trade right there. But nothing else was really stand out. Nothing that's really moving the broader markets or really affecting AMC stock in the slightest bit. Today and after hours, you're going to have Microsoft, Google, Snapchat, Visa, Teladoc, Metadar, Texas Instruments, Boyd, Range Therapeutics, and Weatherford. Microsoft and Alphabet, those are going to be the big ones that the markets care about. Your big movers, though, are going to be Snapchat and Teladoc. These are the ones that can easily move over 20%. They are the ones that markets price crazy moves in. Snapchat's priced in for a 19% move. Could be up or down. I'm more bullish on these two names just because they are so beaten down. But you never know. I still haven't made a trade on them today. I've just been looking at the option chains. Nothing really sticks out to me unless you go long duration, like a December or even into 2024. And those make a little bit more sense, but you would need to see that 20, 30, 40% move in those names to really get those ones to hit like 500, 1,000%. So risk reward, nothing looks that great. Microsoft and Google as well. The option chain actually doesn't look that good. Google looks a little bit better than Microsoft, but I think Microsoft can move more dollar for dollar. But there's nothing exciting here. Now, it will affect these two earnings, Google and Microsoft, will affect the broader markets, and I'm not bullish on either one of them. They're trading near all-time highs. They're pretty dang expensive at a time where we could be heading into a recession. Jamie Dimon rips at the central banks today for being 100% dead wrong on economic forecasts. He says, quote, "Prepare for possibilities and probabilities, not calling one's course of action, since I've never seen anyone call it." Dimon said during a panel discussion at the Future Investment Initiative Summit in Saudi Arabia. Quote, I want to point out the central banks 18 months ago were 100% dead wrong, he added. I would be quite cautious about what might happen next year. Diamond criticized this omnipotent feeling that central banks and governments can manage through all this stuff. I'm cautious. Yeah, that sounds not so great from a Jamie Dimon. Okay. He says, his other most recent warning, he said, when the bank released its earnings report earlier this month, he cautioned that this may be the most dangerous time the world has seen in decades. Whether the whole curve goes up 100 basis points, I would be prepared for it, he added. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I look at what we're seeing today, more like the 70s. A lot of spending, a lot of this can be wasted. That's just a little confusing exactly what he means. If that's more of a jab towards inflation staying higher, or if that's more of a jab to say, hey, we're seeing a lot of spending now, but that could soon, stop, essentially. He says you can't build pipelines to reduce coal emissions. You can't get the permits to build solar and wind and things like that, he said. So we better get our act together. Pretty aggressive Diamond today. And when he speaks, the markets tend to listen. Now, I don't know if that is what is causing the reaction in the markets today. It's definitely the bonds that are doing all the work today, causing stocks to go higher. TLT is up another 0.5% today. As you guys know, TLT has been falling just precipitously over and over and over again. It seems like for years is what it seems like, but it kind of has been falling for literally years since 2020. Rates have just been going higher and higher and higher, and it really got to a head recently where the 10-year treasury yields were over 5%. And since you did hit 5%, you've started to bounce a little bit. Investors are starting to buy the bonds ever so slightly. Yesterday, you were up 1.2%. Today, you're up another 0.5%. That does mean yields are coming down. A lot of this did have to do with Bill Ackman. He said that he covered on his bond short, and that's just basically that. He was shorting the bonds since basically June, July, and he covered on the bond short. So that's getting a little bit of relief to the bond market, but you never know exactly what's moving bonds. That's probably the thing that we could point to because that's what moved bonds yesterday. But either way, if you take a look at the yields over here, you have 10-year treasury yields. Let's go ahead and take a look. 10-year treasury yields are basically flat on the day. 30-year treasury yields are down about 2 basis points, and 20-year treasuries are down a little bit more than that. So yields really calming down here is definitely a positive for stocks. Again, especially your small mid-cap stocks. A stock like AMC is definitely benefiting from this here today. Now, if you take a look at this article, we really don't have any news for AMC stock in particular, but this is an article I do find it was written 7 hours ago. It says AMC Q3 earnings preview. A blockbuster quarter awaits. AMC is close to reporting its Q3 results, which should reflect a strong box office showing that was bolstered by hits such as Barbie and Oppenheimer. AMC is set to announce its Q3 earnings. Analysts project a 27% increase in revenue, but widening loss per share. AMC's Q3 results could be a turning point for the theater chain. Strong box office performance could help the company achieve year-over-year revenue growth above 33%, which would help the company finally surpass its pre-pandemic sales records. Now, that's important. Your pre-pandemic sales, people are going to be paying attention to that. But I want to point this out. The analysts project a 27% increase in revenue, but they expect a widening in the loss per share. That means you're not really expecting the greatest on an EPS basis, right? You're not really expecting great numbers. If AMC can come out and give us something better than feared, better than expected, maybe even a surprise profit, AMC stock would do very, very well after earnings. I think a lot of people are really used to this docile AMC following earnings because that's what we've seen this whole year so far is AMC stock really does nothing around earnings. If you have a good earnings, you rally like 10%, you sell that off by the end of the day. If you have a bad earnings, it's like you sell off and continue to sell off throughout the day. on earnings, that is, or even the days following. Tends to be a multi-day effect, but it hasn't been a good one. Even when AMC turned a profit, AMC stock was down following their earnings, right? And that was due to the court proceeding. I do think AMC stock has the potential to move a lot more, so you want to be just a little more cautious in how cautious you are, because AMC stock does have the potential now and more of a capability to rally compared to any other time, in my personal opinion, that we have seen before, especially, in the last year or so. We're all preconditioned to AMC stock doesn't have good days. AMC stock falls after earnings. Sure, that's been true over the past 3 quarters now, because you've been in this court proceeding this entire year. 3 quarters is quite a bit, right? If you think back, I mean, remember when Nvidia had those blowout earnings the first time? That was 2 quarters ago. AMC stock 3 quarters ago has been under this court proceeding, and even the quarter before that, was really the last time that you did see an actual reaction from AMC following earnings. So let's go ahead and take a look when that was. That was back here in really November of 2022. And what happened after AMC earnings, right? AMC actually fell the next day. Well, it rallied 5.5% the day of earnings. After hours, the next day of after earnings, AMC stock fell 7.66%. Then what happened? AMC rallied 18%. And then AMC rallied 18% the day after that. And then AMC rallied another 2%. You went from $44 to $74, $75 following earnings. Like there was a positive reaction after AMC's earnings. The last time we had earnings without this court proceeding hanging over our head, right? That's what I'm getting at here. You don't have that hanging over your head anymore. So if AMC does have good numbers, if there's something to be excited about, AMC stock will react accordingly. Now, we'll probably get into this a little bit more in the next video. I don't want to make this video all too long for you guys because it is midday. I want you guys to get this information and be able to hopefully do something with it. Again, not a financial recommendation, but I do think it's going to be volatile here. Microsoft's negative on the day right now. Apple is down a half of 1%. Tesla, it was up 4.5%. Now up 1.5%. Stocks are kind of giving it back here, heading into earnings and after hours. That is really what is going to drive the broader markets. Now, if the markets do start to fall, then some of that money probably continues to go into bonds, driving yields lower. And that could be a big positive for stocks such as AMC. Obviously, there's no guarantee. Anything can happen. But that is a possible driver of bonds at this moment in time. Like Bill Ackman said, he said there's way too much risk that the economy is slowing faster than expectations. There's way too much geopolitical risk out there to be short in bonds. Thus just meaning yields are probably going to fall from here rather than go higher. And no matter which way you put it, that's going to be a positive for a company like AMC or really another small and mid-cap stock, especially your unprofitable ones that potentially need to raise capital in the future. Now, let's take a look at this Stocko tracker data here today. You do have calls in the money about 21,000, calls out the money 70,000, puts in the money 5,000, puts out the money 39,500. So you have like a 2-to-1 ratio for out the money options, calls compared to puts, and then you have a 4-to-1 ratio, 4 times as many calls in the money compared to puts that are also in the money. This is pretty dang positive. I don't think you could ask for anything better. Obviously, the numbers could be bigger here, but they're still really good for this week. And I do think this option activity is definitely going to affect AMC for a while now. And it will have an effect throughout the rest of this week. And really, for months to come, you are seeing AMC with some of the lowest put-to-call ratios that I can find out there on the markets today. Let's be honest. I've been looking for a stock with a lower put-to-call ratio than AMC, and I just can't find one. AMC's at 0.74. Apple is around 0.9. Microsoft is around 0.84. Even Google's around 0.8. AMC's on an option basis is more bullish than any of those stocks. Huh? That's not something you would expect if you're thinking of a typical AMC. You would think the AMC would be more bearish than those other stocks. And that's absolutely not the case. Now, even over the past week, you've seen 20 orders totaling about $800,000 with a positive order value of 58%. If we take a look at the option activity here today using Weeble's option analysis tool, 51,000 for call volume and 26,000 for put volume, pretty in line with kind of what we're seeing on the Stocko tracker data as well, about 2 to 1, 2 times the amount of calls being bought compared to puts being bought today. So definitely encouraging. And guys, again, it's just a matter of time before AMC does go through a massive rally. I don't know if it's going to be something where the markets also go up or your small and mid caps go up, money flows out of big tech and that causes AMC stock to rally, or if AMC is going to do something totally independent to the markets. Right now it looks like the good days in the markets are being really good days for AMC stock. So if we're going to continue to flow with that one, if yields continue to fall, that could fuel a much larger increase in AMC's share price, guys. So that is going to do it for this video. We have a lot to cover in the next video, so stay tuned to the channel for that one. Hit the like button. In the meantime, subscribe to the channel. In the meantime, hit that notification bell if you sometimes want to be notified by YouTube every time a new video is released. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.